giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. We stream it live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is Thursday, Cowboys Nation. And today, switching it up a bit. Usually Wednesdays we take a preview, a quick look at the upcoming game, but today we'll take a quick look at this season finale. Can't believe we're here. Against the Washington football people, and why I think this is still a good test for the Cowboys. Stick with me. This is still a good test for the Cowboys heading into the playoffs. In these particular areas, they can gain some momentum. In the roundup, the NFL has listed their Hall of Fame finalists, and the Cowboys have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Don't think all 3 will get in because that's the NFL, and you can only nominate 5, or only can bring in 5 or something like that. And this list is crazy, but we'll touch on that in the roundup. Plus, we got a practice report. Good news on a couple players, weird news on another, and we'll dive into the fallout of a particular personnel move that was made yesterday. So you guys stick around for that. But good morning, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Appreciate you, S2B. Appreciate you, man. And listen, if you say I'm the best, y'all are the best. I truly do mean that, and I cannot believe we are at the final game of the season. Now, for us, for the Bomb Squad, for me, for A to Z Sports Dallas, we don't go anywhere after the season is over. But, man, it really makes you, when you think about it, it makes you think about how fast the season goes and how long the offseason is, because we get to that dead period and we're like, oh, man, I just can't wait for football season to get here. We get to football season, and in a blink, it's done. We are here. The last game of the 2023 regular season, and then we get into the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens then. Toxic, for you already know what's going to happen according to you, Toxic. I remember there was a comment you had yesterday when you was like, if the Cowboys lose in the playoffs, you're going to see me go all toxic on you guys. But why? You already have it set in your head what's going to happen. No need to be toxic. No need to be toxic. It's already set in your head what will happen. So for the rest of us that have some hope, let us have that hope, Toxic. A little more updates on Demar Hamlin. I told you guys I'm going to try to keep you guys updated as much as possible. His uncle did come out. We talked about that yesterday and said he's doing better. The Bills actually came out and said the same thing. And then his father spoke with the team. He spoke with the team on a Zoom meeting and said they needed that to lift them up. So we're hearing encouraging things for Demar. Continue to send our thoughts and prayers. I know that's kind of becoming taboo, but seriously, if you believe in it, send your thoughts and prayers to Demar and his family. And his family is handling this thing, it seems like, extremely well. The Bills are handling it well, and we hope that things will turn around for him and he pulls through. So if you want, you can still donate. I think it's above $5 million now to his toy drive, which is fantastic. It's going to help so many kids in McKees Rock area up in Pittsburgh. Again, I always talk about how I'm familiar with the area. That is going to help a lot, and I hope they can do even more than just the toy drive with it, because that'll be a big uplift for that community. So thoughts and prayers are with you, Demar and the Hamlin family. Let's hope you pull through. With that said, let's hit this roundup and touch on this Washington matchup. And I'm going to say this with confidence. Should not be a particularly long show.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
Time?
It is time for
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey. Yo. I feel like I do this every year. This is 2 years in a row now, the roundup. We've talked about the Hall of Fame finalists, but when I first came on the scene on YouTube, very interesting enough, we talked about Darren Woodson, and he was the first big interview we had on the channel. At the time, it was the Skywalker Steel channel. And I would reach out to Woody and say, hey, man, good luck. You're a finalist for the Hall of Fame. Here I am 3 years later. Hey, Woody, good luck. You're a finalist for the Hall of Fame. The Cowboys have three of, man, would seem like a laundry list of Hall of Fame finalists announced yesterday. Darren Woodson among them. And I'll get to the other two here in a second, but there's no doubt in my mind Darren Woodson is long overdue. 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I did a radio hit. Shout out to Reg and KG on the Get Right yesterday on 105.3 The Fan. And Reg asked me about Darren Woodson, and I said, paraphrasing, D-Ware, I'm going to let you finish, but Darren Woodson is long overdue. In my opinion, Woody helped transcend that position because he was an elite cover guy. He was an elite run defender. He can play cornerback. He had the speed, the power, the intelligence. He is really the prototypical safety you want, probably still now, even now. But in the 90s, I'm sorry, Leroy Butler, John Lynch, I give you Brian Dawkins if you want, but Brian Dawkins ain't a 3-time Super Bowl champion. So Darren Woodson is long overdue. It's a bit ridiculous that he's not in, and I got a feeling he won't get in again, man. I hate to say it, but the list, I think they're going to elect to go with some other guys on that list, and it's just ridiculous at this point. The other guys, Chuck Howley. Before the Manchester rocked that 54, Howley made it what it was. And as a historian of not just the Cowboys, but the game in general, I remember, growing up and watching some of the NFL films and Super Bowl V, Baltimore Colts, Dallas Cowboys. And that was the first time I found out that the Super Bowl MVP was from a losing team. And Chuck Howley, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, Super Bowl MVP, and also a Super Bowl champion. Another guy that's probably long overdue to get into the Hall of Fame as well. You would think the Cowboys, being the Cowboys, these type of guys would be in the Hall of Fame. Pretty weird to me. But Chuck Howley's another one. I believe he's a senior finalist, so maybe he gets in if it doesn't count towards the 5. I don't know. And then DeMarcus Ware, who we all believe got snubbed last year. 9-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, all-decade team in the 2000s, and a Super Bowl champion, unfortunately, not with the Cowboys, but with the Denver Broncos. And it wasn't like he just went over there and rode the coattails of that team. No, he was a double-digit sack guy, a leader, and he helped propel them to the Super Bowl. In fact, he made some plays in that Super Bowl. So, listen, one of these three have to get in. They have to. I thought D. Ware was going to be first ballot. There was a lot of people last year saying, no, first ballot is Reggie White, is LT, and these type of guys. I personally think, while D. Ware had his shortcomings in Dallas, of the 2000s, there was only a handful of guys that might have been better than D. Ware, and then you could argue he was right there with them. So, Hall of Fame player, no doubt about it. Hope to see him in the Hall of Fame in a few months. Let's get to the practice report from Wednesday. Good news on Tony Pollard, which we knew about on Monday. He was back in full, and I think he's going to be gearing up to play against the Washington football people. Put a pin in that because we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then LVE was back in a limited fashion, but he is not expected to play. This is more of a ramp-up period for the playoffs. But good news, he's back out there. He's moving around, and if we can get LVE back, that's only going to help, I think, this defense. For Washington, however, They had 11 players listed on their practice report, and all 11 were DNPs, did not practice. Oh. That's a lot of people. I get it. It's the last game of the season. Maybe you just don't really quite care about. I don't know. But 11 players, 11 DNPs. It's kind of crazy. But the headline of the DNPs was defensive tackle, all-pro, Pro Bowler Jonathan Allen, who left the Browns game early with the knee injury and did not return. So that will be something to watch throughout this week to see if he plays. But even if he doesn't, again, we're going to take a quick preview of that defense over there. I still think it'd be a nice little test for the Cowboys, man. Nice little test. Now, will the Cowboys be with Tyler Biadasz? Probably not. Will they be with Kelvin Joseph? We'll see. He had a tooth issue, and he did not practice. Now, before we get on Kelvin Joseph, Donovan Wilson also had a tooth situation a few weeks back, and he didn't practice for a few days. I don't know what's going on with him and his tooth, but I can tell you this. I've had an abscess tooth, I believe is what it's called, before, and I would not wish that pain on my worst enemy. That pain is crazy because your nerve is right there. I'm not saying that's what happened with him, but that's one of the few things with the teeth that could cause you not to practice, man. That pain is excruciating. And the only way to deal with it is to get heavily medicated. And who knows, maybe he had to get his tooth pulled. Maybe there was an infection somewhere. I don't know, but an abscess tooth is no joke. And I'm not saying that's what he had, but I'm just trying to put it out there that you might say, well, he's a football player, Sky. It's a tooth. Suck it up. Or as I say, buck up, Bart. All right. I'd like to see you go through an abscess tooth. Oh, boy. My son looked at me when I had that going on, and he was concerned. He was concerned. But no, man, I don't know what the deal is with his tooth, but he did not practice. And again, he's a guy that needs to be out there. He needs to be out there. And then finally, in the middle of the show yesterday, we got the breaking news that James, as Law likes to say, James Washington was released. And he is now out on the streets to be a free agent and sign wherever he may want to sign. Again, as I said yesterday, I didn't think it was necessarily a huge deal. He's a guy that got hurt in the OTAs, got hurt in training camp, and he only played in like 22 snaps with 0 receptions. So I don't think he'll be missed in that manner. You could argue that, well, maybe they should have kept him for depth purposes, in case somebody gets hurt this week, whatever. But I think the Cowboys are up against it right now in regards to calling guys up and already dealing with other injuries, and they can't utilize that a fourth call up from the practice squad. They either have to sign them on the roster or don't bring them up at all. And then you have guys like Jonathan Hankins, who's going to return next week as well. So that's he'll count against your roster spot. So somebody had to go. It wasn't going to be Tolbert. And James Washington felt like he was the last guy on the roster, so he's out. He gone. That's the morning roundup, Cowboys Nation. If you want to call into the show, you can. The Pulse of the Nation hotline is 351-999-3787. 351-999-3787. Special case at Washington look washed. I hope that was a pun intended. I'm gonna say this about him. I was shocked when I saw him at training camp. Not literally, because I wasn't down there at the beginning, but just kind of looking at him, like, he's a lot more boxier than he looked in Pittsburgh. You know, maybe it's the number 83 just looked weird on him. I hate to use the term wash, Special K, but he definitely did not look, and it's crazy because he's only like a 4-year pro, so it's not like he's old, but he didn't look right. And it didn't hurt that he got hurt in OTAs. He got hurt in training camp right away. And once that happened, and y'all know, those that were here in the offseason, I said Dante Fowler, James Washington are not going to move the needle. but they can be contributors to this team. And I absolutely thought James Washington could have some value as a slot type of guy if he was a healthy guy. I didn't expect him to be a hurt guy. But once he got hurt and twice and was on IR and broke his foot, I was fine if they let him go at that point. I'm like, well, what's the point? Because he doesn't know this offense. He's not familiar with the quarterback. He hasn't practiced a lot. He I hate to say it, but he's pretty much useless to this team. And even when he comes back, anything you got, even him lining up and just running a route was a bonus. He wasn't a guy that was really going to move the needle for you. But that T.Y. is a different story. That T.Y. is a different story. Oh, we got a special caller, I think, from out of the country that just dropped in here. But I'll get to you in a second. Hold tight. I want to get through these comments right quick. Dan said he had an abscess in his throat. What? Oh, I couldn't imagine that, brother. Now, with the tooth, though, I don't know how it is with the throat. The tooth, if it gets to your nerve, that's where, because your nerve sits right there underneath your tooth. That's where the pain is just ridiculous, and it can swell up. Ah, man, and they might have to drain it depending how bad it is. It's rough, brother. It's rough. Oh, Aaron E. Oh my God. Ain't nobody see this? Aaron E said, I saw someone tweet, Kelvin Joseph broke his tooth biting on a double move. Dang. Y'all wrong. He broke his tooth biting on a double move. 68 one boy said that issue will break a good man down, Sky. Yes, it will, bro. It will bring you to tears, fam. It will bring you to tears. I literally went to the emergency room like, just rip the jaw out. Just rip it out. I don't even want it no more. All right, man. Let's get to the phone lines real quick because like I said, we got an out of country, I believe, caller. I'm not sure, and I love to hear from the peoples out of the country. Pulse of the Nation hotlines presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 2005, the Cochran Firm has served the DFW area, not just served, but fighting for you in the DFW area. Their attorneys, headlined by Larry Taylor and Brian Pope, have handled the most challenging civil cases involving many of things, including automobile accidents, class action suits, and many, many more. And all of the Cochran Firm's civil cases are handled on a contingent fee basis, meaning if there's no financial recovery, then they charge no fee. They're saying it's Cochran Cares, and I truly do believe that. Having interacted with these gentlemen on multiple occasions, great gentlemen, smart gentlemen, really good attorneys. Hit them up if you have questions or if you need the services at 1-800-THE-FIRM or CochranTexas.com. You are live on A to Z Sports Live. Who we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hey, man. What's up, man? This is Kippy from the Bahamas.
Kippy from the Bahamas. I haven't heard from you in a long time, but the number looked familiar. Good to hear from you, sir.
All is well, man. Yeah, I was trying to get in after the Christmas Eve game against the Eagles, man. But your phones were off the charts, so calling from overseas can't wait that long.
It's tough. It's tough.
I saw something Christmas Eve night after we played Philly. That defense, I think we took their sword. I think Doc took their sword. I've never seen a defense just see. Everyone keeps complaining that we beat Gardner Minshew. Doc doesn't play defense.
Right.
I mean, Doc doesn't play. Doc wasn't playing against Minshew. Doc plays against defense. Now, if Slayer and those boys, and I think the two of those corners, last time I checked, they made the Pro Bowl, right?
I know at least. I'm not sure actually, but I know Bradbury and Slay were considered top corners this year. Yeah.
Exactly. PFF got them right up there. I think top 10 or whatever.
Right.
But they good corners. And the game started with Doc throwing, spotting them 10 points basically. You might as well say. I mean, he threw interception, pick six, boom. They up 10-0, everybody in Philly happy. And then all of a sudden, when they lost, it was like, oh, you played Gardner Minshew. No, we didn't. Doc dropped 40 on your defense. Simple. That's just what happened. And from then, they look like they are spiraling out of control. I know they got the injuries. Jalen Hurts is actually. I was just listening to a podcast, I think, with Tyreek Hill a few days ago, and Tyreek Hill was saying that he had a similar injury when he was in high school, but he catches the ball. He said the problem with that is you can raise your arm a certain level, but the mobility is limited. And when you get hit or you drop on the ground, it hurts.
Yeah.
He said it doesn't matter what they shoot you up with, it hurts. So they are actually not telling you the truth about Jalen Hurts because the media, like, for some strange reason, everybody's on the Philly bandwagon. They love to hate the Cowboys. Everybody hate the Cowboys. But we are not last year's Dallas Cowboys.
If you remember, brother, Dak had the same injury in 2019, and that's the game that everybody, all the Dak haters love to go back and say, well, 2019 he had a chance to win the division and yada yada yada. That he had the same AC joint sprain in his throwing shoulder, right? And he was supposed to sit out. Bobby Belt talked about this the other day. He said everyone advised him to sit out, but he said no. And he played the worst game of the season, and the Cowboys ended up losing that game.
He was inaccurate the entire game. He couldn't. Yeah. I think Michael Gallup actually got free on the sideline for.
And he couldn't get it out there.
Dak couldn't get it. He had protection. He couldn't even get the ball to him.
And mind you,
I don't know why they acted.
He didn't run as much as Jalen runs. So I'm with you. I think there's something to it.
I was about to say that. And the thing is, they claim that the Philly offense and the talking heads, like Mark Holmes has called them, the talking heads, are saying that Jalen is Philly's entire offense. So if Jalen Hurts is Philly's entire offense and the run game is predicated on Jalen Hurts, who now can't run for fear of being hurt more or risking further injury for not even the playoffs, but for the future, that means that offense is basically, and in my opinion, I feel like after the playoff, because once the playoffs start, that's the good teams. That's the great teams. That's a different level of teams that are coming at you. They know it's one and done. Everyone is going to be hyper for the game, including Hurts. However, he's going to get hit. There's no quarterback, I think, that ever played a game that never got touched. You're going to get touched down. You're going to get hit, and it's only the response after that first or second hit that you're going to see whether he's good or he's not. He's going to get hit.
Yeah.
And I know if he was playing in the 90s, somebody would have taken the 15-yard penalty to hit him just to make sure he's all right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I am not advocating for dirty football, but after listening to the Philly fans talk about that guy that tweeted that garbage like Skip Bayless, and that's another thing I didn't like. The guy who tweeted that Dak, they was glad Dak lost his money and his brother and all that stuff. I was like, you know what? Bring in Carlos Watkins off the bench and let Carlos Watkins take the 15-yard penalty when the ball is like on the 10 or 12 after we done punt probably and pin him in there. Let somebody punt and pin him in there and just take him out of the game because that's what everybody else would have done. Michael Jordan would have done that. And no one would smile and say Jordan went after your hobbled player. That's just sports. Sports is finding the weakest opponent on the field and you dominate them. Yes, you want to go up against the best. Everybody says that out front, but I can be honest with you. If there's a guy that's hurt on the field, Bill Belichick is famous for that. The minute you put in a new corner or any new receiver or anything like that, Belichick attacks your weakness, and he don't care. You're out there, you're supposed to play. So if Jalen Hurts is playing this week, I'm guaranteeing you, I'm going to guarantee that the Giants is going to hurt him if he plays. But I'm hearing now from the Philly fans on the Philly Sports Network, because they have Sirius Radio, that he's not going to play this week. It's going to be, I think, Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. I hear Tyrod Taylor's going to play.
You're talking about the Giants?
Yeah, the Giants game. So I think it's going to be Tyrod Taylor versus Gardner Minshew. That's the setup now. That's why the I don't know if you noticed the line has moved a little bit. I think it was 14 2 days ago or something like that. I think it's down to must be 9 or 10 now, and by Saturday it'll probably be 6, 4, 3. Who knows?
He's been limited the last what. He was limited yesterday. We'll see if he's limited today. I know limited is not bad, but it's also not good to start, right? For a quarterback. It's one thing in a throwing shoulder. You need him to be full go. So if he gets a full practice, then maybe he plays. But if he's limited all the way this week, he might not play.
I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to play. I think they're hoping. I think the organization, to me, is having a wrestle back and forth with a decision. If we sit him and lose this
They're
game, Dallas wins the
perplexed.
division, and we have to play 3 games on the road. But can we beat good teams 3 times in a row to get to probably the Super Bowl? That's what they're thinking. Or do we want to risk Jalen Hurts' health now to win a game to get a bye, and he probably still don't play well after the bye?
Yeah.
So I think that's a Philly problem, and I hate Philly fans. I hate Philly fans.
Me and you
I'm never
both,
gonna
bro.
say it. I hate Philly fans. Philly fans are too arrogant. They act like they just won the Super Bowl yesterday. It was 2017.
They act like they got 5.
And they act like they get 5. And when they talk about the past with Dallas, they always bring up the past. But if you bring up the past about Dallas, you have to say, well, the greatest team. You have to start off by putting respect on it. If you say, well, Dallas hasn't won from 1995, 1996, okay, but say that the Dallas Cowboys were the greatest dynasty of the 90s and hasn't won since then. Put respect on it. Don't just muddy it up and whatever, and try to make it seem like the Cowboys are irrelevant and this and that.
They have no
Jerry
dignity.
calls all of this stuff. Oh, I have a problem for Jerry Jones. You stick with 2 people too long on that team that has that team like that. One of them was Jason Garrett as a coach for 10 years, waste of time. The next one was sticking with Tony Romo, waste of time. Romo had talent, but Romo never had the moxie. Romo had a great defense in one of those years that he lost in the first round. The loss was on Romo because I remember him throwing an interception at a bad time, and the Cowboys lost that game. That was the game that they were supposed to win. Dak actually was supposed to be in the Super Bowl if they had called that Des Bryant fumble the catch. Okay? I really felt that year.
I think
we would've gone to
JG was
the Super
more
Bowl.
the problem. I think JG was more of the
Yeah,
problem under Tony.
Yeah, Jerry Jones cannot manage a football team. I don't understand that just because you own the team, get football players in there. If Jerry Jones had somebody in his front office like Ozzie Newsome, the Cowboys would have already won a Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys that I watched over the last 20-something years after Emmett, Troy, Michael, Darren Woodson, and the like of them, Deion Thomas and the rest of them, they have no discipline. The reason why they have no discipline, because you have the heir to owner. Michael Vick said when he was playing, he saw Arthur Blank twice. Twice was, I think he said, the week after the draft, he went to Torta facilities. And when he signed his contract, Arthur Blank was there. Michael Vick said he never had a relationship with the owner.
Right. We all agree Jerry Jones is an issue. But listen, I love the call, but we gotta keep it moving forward. We're getting further and further away from Cowboys Washington this week, man. But
I know.
it's good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you, man. You take care, good brother.
Okay. Yeah, you do, bro.
Man, my Shotters brother said y'all gonna get this work. I got a lot on my mind from the Bahamas. Y'all gonna hear it. I appreciate his calls, but boy, that got to a point where it's like, hey, we're talking about Jerry and Tony. I ain't game this week. I got game this week. Oh no, Darren says from Zumanda. Y'all crazy, man. He called in before and had a fantastic call. And I get it, right? You get passionate, you get excited, but once we start going back to Jerry and going back to Tony Romo's and whatnot, we gotta reel it back in. Gotta reel it back in. This is more off-season talk. We've had this Jerry Tony Romo talk plenty of times. Los, what's goody, man?
So now let me add on to that. I'm just messing.
I about to say, boy,
Hey, good morning, Sky. I hope it's been a while. I've been MIA, but it's been a good little vacay for me, so I'm chilling, man. Hopefully these Cowboys don't be adding my blood pressure to be going up too high neither during these playoffs.
Oh, come on now. If you're expecting that, you're setting yourself up for a failure.
I know. But nah, Sky. And honestly, I have one quick point. Sorry if I didn't make myself clear in the watch show, but it's so with this Washington Skins and then, come off playoffs. Because I'm going to be honest, this guy, like, I don't, is it a bye this week? I don't even know. But
is it what?
They're not playing their start. Is it even considered a bye this week? We don't even know. They're not even, it seems like they're not even trying to put their starters out there.
Who?
Or put their best competition. Not the Cowboys, but the Washington Redskins.
What makes you think that? I'm just curious.
well, sorry, Stripes and Redskins, the Washington team. My bad.
Right.
So
I'm
I
saying,
just
what
feel
makes
like-
you think they're not? Did you hearing something I ain't hearing?
No, it just seems like, I don't know. I don't know, Sky. Maybe I might be wrong, but I just feel like it just seems like with the quarterback Carousel, or what is it? Who's playing quarterback?
It's Sam Howell,
Yeah.
but you could argue that might be an upgrade to Carson Wentz. So, Carson Wentz has been terrible. So,
I mean, I think they're both terrible. I mean, if they're
Sam Howell's a rookie, so we'll get to Sam Howell in a second. But continue.
But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, if you're asking a rookie to beat a team that's been rolling hot, and I mean, yeah, we're playing our starters here and there, but I feel like we should demolish this team, Scott. We should.
Okay.
I mean, there's no ifs and buts. But if we don't, then we're going to raise question marks. Then how are we looking coming in playoff time, and et cetera, et cetera. And I just want to make to my final point. It's like, I don't care who we face in the playoffs, guy. I really don't. But it's like, I just don't want to go back to last year where the 49ers are coming out with their jukebox, with, up the tunnel, ready for a game, while the Cowboys have no energy and, like, no game plan to see what's coming for them. And I just feel like if they don't pick up their game, and this is a huge stepping stone. Like, if we were to win this game going with momentum, you can carry that. And if they don't, it just seems like there's question marks still going with this coaching staff at the wrong time. And I just don't want that to happen. So I just feel if the Washington team, that let's say they do put their best effort and they're not trying, because are they playing for playoffs, Sky? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they are.
They were eliminated last week.
So, I mean, all they have to play for is basically just to say, hey, we ruined Cowboys' opportunity to get a number one, a chance of a number one.
And some
right?
people would,
but if we do,
some teams would consider that even more valuable.
yeah, especially coming from their franchise.
Yeah. I don't think we can listen. I think we can beat them without a doubt. But this is still a divisional game, and they're still going to play a lot of their guys unless they surprisingly don't. I don't know why they wouldn't. It's not like they got to save anybody. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of those divisional. I hope they fight. I hope they put. I don't want to get into a fight where it's a close game, but I want them to make us have to come out there and earn it heading into the playoffs.
So, well, and I'll leave it with this guy. I'm not trying to add so much to this guy, and I'll just leave it with the question on EVP. So, if you were to win this game, right, would you rather win it in a play like domination, like 50 burger to 7 or 10 points, or rather see some adversity first half, come second half, and win a close one?
I truly don't care.
And
none of those matter. Just winning and becoming healthy. I don't think whether you win because it's close and you're facing adversity or you blow them out. I just want them to go out there and earn the victory and then come out healthy. I don't care if it's a blowout or a close game, honestly. I
agree, Sky. So, hey, last note, rest Parsons, bro. He needs it, man. He's been, like Vosh said, he's been hurt since like week 7 or something. But yeah.
You said what now?
Like Vosh said, man, Parsons been hurt, been hurting since like week 6 or 7, man. He needs a little day off or something. Especially, just ready for it.
Good luck getting him to rest.
Yeah, hey, I understand on that. But yeah, I'll leave you be, Sky. You have a good morning. Enjoy your coffee, man, and many blessings keep coming to your family, man. Peace.
Thanks, Los. Appreciate you. Yeah, Micah ain't resting. Micah is not resting. Again, he's just dealing with what everybody's dealing with. You got 17 game season. The hand situation, I'm privy to what's going on there, but it's not. He won't have that thing on his hand, so that's fine. He's not dealing with any lower level, extremity issues. He's not got a hamstring, anything going on. It's just wear and tear of the football season. That's just what it is right now from everybody across the NFL. And I know there's some analysts who believe Cowboys should rest this week. I'm of the belief they should not. You're playing for something. I'm not resting nobody unless they literally can't play, right? Like unless they're they're hurt. Like an LVE was hurt and he has to sit out a few weeks because he got a neck issue. If Tony Pollard's whatever it was hamstring, I don't know what's going on with Tony Pollard, I forget. But it was a thigh issue. If his thigh is not healed, then you rest him. But Michael Parsons has been able to play all season. So I am of the belief, play these guys that can play, go out there and get the victory. Now, if you get up early, then you can sit them down. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Sit them down. But in regards to style points, yeah, I personally don't care if they win 54-7 or if they win 24-17. I just think they need to win and win and be healthy. That's the main goal, to get out of here with the win and get out of here healthy heading into the playoffs. That's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, well, it's yeah, Professor O. I'll just leave it at that. It's not really a rumor. But set it off, Chris. What's goody?
Hey, good morning, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm good, brother. I'm good. And listen, I'm getting to get out. First and foremost, I was a dental technician for 20 years, and so I'm going to explain to you this abscess thing. This abscess thing, that's infection underneath the gum, and it is trying to release itself. So the time when you had it, when you damn near passed out, I had it one time. I couldn't damn near open my mouth,
bro,
and it is excruciating.
It's crazy.
And so I know there is zero sympathy for Kelvin Joseph. It's between shit and syphilis in the dictionary, according to Cowboys Nation. But man, that can shut a man down. So let's give him that. Okay, just give him that on that point. The second thing I'm gonna get at you, man, is that Darren Woodson is so disrespected, not only by the NFL community, but by the Dallas Cowboys in itself. For him not to be in the Ring of Honor, the all-time tackle leader for the Dallas Cowboys in the history of the Cowboys franchise, and not be in the Ring of Honor,
crazy.
That's why he's overlooked.
Oh no!
By the Hall of Fame.
I think Woody's in the Ring of Honor.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't think Woody was in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
He should be in.
He is.
Okay, I don't know if he is. Okay.
I think. Let me just make sure.
Check, bro.
He is. I thought I was crazy. He's in.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in.
Okay. But I think that's the reason why so many of them are overlooked for so long. It took the senior committee for Drew Pearson, who was an all-decade, not in the 70s and the 80s, to get in as a senior guy. Chuck Howley, like you said so eloquently, Super Bowl champion, only guy to ever be a Super Bowl MVP on a losing team, and he's now on the senior committee to get in. There is in no lifetime, in no world, in no presence where Roy Butler or John Lynch have been better than Darren.
That is crazy.
In no lifetime, in no world.
Yeah.
Has either one of those guys been better than him? And the only reason you give it to my man for the Eagles, he is after Darren Woodson, what he did, being a ultimate box safety. That guy had like 3 interceptions, I think. For like 8, 9, 10 years of his career.
Well,
so
yeah,
I give it to
Brian
him.
Dawkins is the only one.
Brian Dawkins, yeah.
He was legitimately I'm not saying those other dudes wasn't, but I'm sorry,
no,
bro.
I'm
Leroy
saying,
Butler,
no.
John Lynch.
You can't say it because you're not going to say it because you're a professional. I'm going to say it because I'm just rogue out here. Because that dude he's never been Hall of Fame caliber, man. That dude was never Hall of Fame caliber. He played with 2 guys who were Hall of Fame caliber.
What I'm saying is, I don't see Woody. I'm sorry, I don't see Leroy Butler and John Lynch getting in over Woody. If you want to argue they're Hall of Famers, I won't fight you on that one. But getting in before Darren Woodson to me is wild. Chuck Howley not being in is wild. Hopefully D. Ware gets in, but it goes back to wondering if there is some type of. Oh. Hello.
I'm here, bro. I'm right here.
Yeah, it sound bad.
I'm right here.
Okay.
My bad. I walked outside real quick. My bad, bro.
Okay, it might be some type of bias towards Cowboys players because it's too many times we're like, why aren't they in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, it's always going to be the question of why they're not in the Hall of Fame. My fault, bro. I had to walk outside real quick.
All good.
But at the end of the day, man, that's it, man. I didn't like the fact that matter that once I saw his name up there, I'm like, man, this dude should have been in well before then. But at the end of the day, man, don't care who we go through. Sam Howell is a really good quarterback. I'm a Carolina fan, but he is a rookie. And let the chips fall where they fall. I'm going to ask you something offline about off-season stuff because Brandon, me and him on Frankly Football, he's been trying to get me into draft mode for the last 6 weeks. And I'm like, dude, we still playing games.
Draft mode?
But, dude, man, listen, bro. I'll say something about somebody. Brandon has hit me with 9 needs for the offseason. I said, D, we
my
still
head ain't
playing
even there.
games. Dude, I said, dude, this, come on.
My head's not even there. Not even close.
Yeah, man, I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah, man. If I say words with D, man, outside of Dallas, this dude talking about, yeah, I got a guy in the fourth round. Man, I don't want to hear none of that.
A guy in the fourth round? Hold on, he got fourth round prospects. We trying to win the Super Bowl.
Dude, man, that's why that's my guy. But D is on draft season.
I can dig it.
Come on, champ. I can definitely dig it. But, yo, man, check your inbox, man. Yo, great show, man. Cowboy Nation, always remember, be the arrogant, over-the-top Cowboy fans you are going to be. Embrace being the villain. We'll talk later, my guy.
Appreciate you set off. Chris, Frankly Football. I am dumb, man. I ain't nowhere near close to draft season right now, y'all. I'm just telling y'all that right now. Uh-oh. Did I freeze? Okay, we good. Yeah, I usually get in right after football season's over. Well, when football season's over, we talk about for a week about what's going on with the team, and then I start jumping right into the lab. And this year is going to be, I said this yesterday, actually. Funny you brought it up on Vach's show. The fact that I'm going to be working with Vach, I'm not sure how we're going to handle the offseason schedule, but more on a daily basis in regards to the actual draft, I'm probably going to be even more in tune. And over the last 3 years, I've gotten more and more in tune with draft coverage and the players and whatnot, but Vach is draft guy, so that'll be cool to go through. It'll be a fun draft season. It always is. But that's the furthest thing on my mind. So on my mind right now is this Washington football team that the Cowboys have to play that I still believe there has potential to be some type of test that you can get out of this going up against this team. And one of them resides on the offensive side of the ball where, if you guys remember, if I could find this video, this clip came after the Washington game early in the season when Dallas didn't run the ball well against this team.
Earlier in your play calling career, were you as persistent with the run when you're kind of beating your head against the wall like that? Because
everything inside of me wanted to throw the football the entire Sunday. So but you learn, you grow.
That came from that game because he came out and basically admitted what he is, right? And to his credit, although there's a little asterisk to it because they let the cat out the bag with a certain number, but to his credit, he has been more balanced on a consistent basis than he's ever been, I think, as his tenure here in Dallas. But man, I was telling, and it was he and all that stuff from the reporters, but that was real. I think he really wanted to throw the ball over the field against that team. And probably because they couldn't run the rock or whatever, and Cooper Rush was having some success in the air. And that's why I think this could be a test against this Washington defense, because they are still a solid run defense to good run defense. Now, last week, Nick Chubb ate him up. He averaged over 7.4 yards per carry. Everybody else struggled on the ground against him, but Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb. But if you go back and watch how they ran, I say this all the time here, it's really about the how. Now, they got a better offensive line. I totally understand that. But the Cowboys can do some of the things that Cleveland did. Some of the things that they really didn't do much of against Washington in that first matchup. Pulling guys, motioning guys pre-snap, getting guys going one way. And when they did do those against Washington, they had some successful runs. But for most of the day, it was a tough outing. They only averaged 2.1 yards per carry in that game. I would approach this one to see, can we establish our run game again? Because it hasn't been a dominant run game over the last month of the season against a quality front. Now, that front might not have Jonathan Allen, right? But Chase Young did return, so the pass rush gets a little bit of juice there. Deron Payne is still there, and he's going to be a pain in our butts. It is what it is, pun intended. No Tyler Biotish. He and Jonathan Allen gave Connor McGovern problems in that first matchup. Now, I believe that was McGovern's first game back, so I think he should be better equipped to handle the situation. But here's the problem. You're playing the O-line musical chairs game. This is going to be the first career start for Connor McGovern at center. And he's got Deron Payne to welcome him. Maybe Jonathan Allen, we'll see. Montez Sweat is another guy that's on the outside. So you'll have Chase Young and Montez Sweat going up against Tyron Smith, his third game at right tackle. And Jason Peters, likely his first start at left tackle. So this is why I still believe they're not playing for anything, but they still have to play. This is going to be a test. And I think they should approach it that way. Can we establish the run game? Can we be efficient on the ground? And can we protect Dak Prescott with this new lineup that the Cowboys are going to have? Because you got to go into these type of fights where it may not be something to play for the other team, but you have to approach it like Kobe, the Mamba mentality, or Michael Jordan. One small little thing that can get me going to get ramped up for this. Now, I'm not saying they aren't ramped up because they have the division to play for, right? But I mean, from a coaching standpoint, they have to go into this game saying, well, let's go prove to ourselves that we can get this run game going against a solid run defense. Let's prove that this offensive line can give this guy some time to block against some good pass rushers. It's a test, and it's a test I want to see Dallas pass with flying colors. Y'all figure deal me? Let's get to 571 before we go to the other side of the ball. What's good, 571?
Hi, Sky. How we doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. One thing I was definitely looking forward to this upcoming game about is it's a good test for cornerback 2. As far as getting good reps, a good receiver.
Yeah, I agree. We're actually going to get to the other side of the ball here in a second to speak about that. But absolutely, it's another test. We talk about tests, right? For Nashawn Wright or whoever they have out there, regardless of the quarterback, it seems to be it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're going to test you on that outside.
Right, and believe it or not, actually, Payne has been playing some good ball recently, and he is playing for his next contract.
Who's that?
Deron Payne is he's playing for his next contract.
Yeah, he's having an all-pro type of year, man. 11.5 sacks from the interior is insane. So, he's going to get the bag.
Right, and he actually had his 5th-year option decline, so he could be somebody who's going to get a lot of money.
He's going to get paid, yeah.
Yeah. And besides that, I would like to just see my offensive line just show some cohesion and finding some type of run game. Even if Jonathan Allen plays or not,
it doesn't matter.
Play.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Bro,
doesn't matter.
We let backups last week in Tennessee give us trouble. You know what I mean? On the interior, they got Deron Payne. Even without Jonathan Allen, he's a problem. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even with that being said, you should be able to have some sort of a passing game on that team because their secondary is not good. But if you can just keep on getting TY's more throws as well, just so you can have more. It's just some more minor game reps, so you can just he's throwing the ball more to come the playoffs.
Yeah, that's another thing too, right? That we talked about the run game because that's kind of the big test I want to see. But in regards to reps, getting TY involved, and he even said, and McCarthy said, we're going to give him more snaps. This is a perfect game to kind of get that going. Their secondary has played better in a sense since week 4, but there's still nothing to fear at all. Like Fuller can still get work. I think they got the kid Johnson on the outside. And you can still attack the secondary if the pass rush doesn't get home. And Dak is back, right? This isn't Cooper Rush, who had a good day against that team from an efficiency standpoint. Now Dak Prescott's back. So I would definitely look to get T.Y. upwards of about 25 to 30 snaps and see if we can get him 5 targets again.
And one other thing I would like to see this game is possibly to get Bland to hopefully get to be tied with Tariq Woolen for interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. Being a little nice little notch on his belt there, getting the 6 interceptions for the season, and Woolen's having a fantastic year, and Bland is too. So yeah. Hey, dog.
And I think it's a little too early, maybe a little premature to get into draft talk. Because stock goes up all the time from whether it be the Natty game that's coming up in college or the Senior Bowl, which has been yet to be determined.
Right. Hey, man, appreciate the call. I'm going to keep it moving here, though, okay?
Okay.
All right, man. Hold tight 727 because he kind of segued himself. So let's go ahead and segue over to the other side of the ball, Washington's offense, and talk about that matchup for the Cowboys defense. Again, you got to find your fight. Got to find your test within a game that essentially is meaningless for the opposing team. And I think the test here is kind of twofold, to be honest with you. He brought up one of them in regards to cornerback 2, right? I know we make a joke about this, but this is serious. Terry McLaurin versus Trayvon Diggs. Can't you almost just check that off as, okay, not worried about that? I know that sounds weird because Terry's a beast. But Diggs owns that man. Ever since that touchdown his rookie year, he's shut him out. Now, they could elect to put Terry on the other side, and that changes things. I would actually travel him, but the other person you have to deal with is Jahan Dotson, who's having a pretty good year for a rookie. I liked him coming out, Penn State. It would have been nice to have him as opposed to Tober, but hey, that's a different story. Regardless, one of those dudes are going to get matched up with Nashawn Wright or Deron Bland, and they will be tested. And remember, in that first matchup, Bland got his first career interception. And instead of Wentz throwing the rock this time around, it'll be Sam Howell, rookie out of UNC, who will get his first action against what should be a hungry Dallas defense. I said this about Josh Dobbs last week, and he proved me wrong a bit. I thought that Dan could confuse. Actually, no, we were talking about Malik Willis. That's what it was. Yeah, I actually was right. I said I think it was best they had went with Josh Dobbs going against Dan Quinn because Malik Willis was a poor passer and he was a rookie. So I think Quinn could have confused him a lot. Sam is not a poor passer coming out, but he is also a rookie. So I think Dan could end up having his way a little bit with Sam Howell in regards to the passing game. But nonetheless, he got some guys to throw to. Logan Thomas is always a thorn in our side. Really good tight end in this league, underrated. And then the biggest test to me, the run defense, right? There's no LVE, there's no Jonathan Hankins, and they haven't been poor per se, but Washington is going to test this Cowboys front. They're 8th in the league in rush attempts, and when they last matched up, the Washington football people rushed for over 140 yards. 137 of them were by the running backs. All 3 running backs, by the way. They all had explosive plays, but they didn't see Brian Robinson Jr., who, if you guys remember, got shot in the offseason, and he's made a full recovery, and he's having an outstanding year for given what happened to him. And given that he didn't play till like midway through. He has 797 yards on the ground. He leads the team. Gibson is second in the team. He's kind of transitioned into that kind of third down role, throw to the running back role, receiving, pass catching guy. And then they run a lot of stuff with Curtis Samuel on those jet sweeps. So they're going to test you on the ground from a pure attempt standpoint, but also, as we talk about, seems to be year in, year out, Washington runs a lot of eye candy stuff. They run a lot of pre-snap motion. They're going to get post-snap action. They're going to have pulls. Tight ends are going to be doing crackdowns, RPOs, all the stuff that you may run into in the postseason. So that's a test I would like to see them come out and pass. Last time in this matchup, the first half was not good. I think they ran for over 100 yards in the first half. The second half, they kind of tightened up a little bit. The Cowboys got an ounce of a lead. That was when the Cowboys defense was a bit different. But they got an ounce of a lead and made Carson Wentz have to throw that ball around the park, and pressure got home, interceptions happened, and they got away with a double-digit win. Sam Howell's the quarterback now. Different group of weapons. Not different, but added weapons, I should say. And we'll see how it goes. But regardless, doesn't matter who's out there. I think you want to see this run defense kind of figure out the eye candy portion. You want to see cornerback 2 continue the momentum, and you want to see this pass rush start to turn up a bit heading into the playoffs. It's kind of how I see it here with this Washington offense. So their offense has a better scheme than Kellen's is Toxic. Well, Toxic, if you've been around, you know there's been, I'm going to say, 4 teams I often refer to. It used to be just strictly about the passing game or the run scheme. I often referred to Washington. I would say, hey, I'd steal some of their run game scheme. It was Washington, it was Philly, San Fran, and in general, from an offensive standpoint, Kansas City. I would steal some of their schematic things, but it's a copycat league, and I would definitely be stealing from all these quality coordinators or quality schemes, I should say. They have a good scheme. I don't think they have the quarterback, though. Who the F is Sam Howell? He is a rookie quarterback out of UNC. I think they drafted him in like the 5th round or something like that. Time to get 10 sacks. All right, 727. Good morning. What you got for us? What's up with you?
What's going on, my brother?
I'm good, man.
First of all, I just want to say big fan of you, Vach, Law, all you guys, man. I appreciate
Thanks,
what y'all
brother.
do, man.
Thank you.
And I don't want to hold you up long.
You good?
First time calling, but a couple things on my mind, man. I think it's this week for us is risk versus reward. And the way I put it like that is because I know we have something we're playing for. If Philly fall,
right.
If San Francisco fall, we're in a great place. And theoretically speaking, from a bird's eye view, that looks great right now. But, I've been a Cowboys fan for some time, and I've seen us come in, hot, first overall, or, the seeding looking great for us, not work out. I've seen us come in kind of underdogs. We won one, and then it faded out. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing right now is to go into the playoffs healthy.
Yeah.
And give it our best shot. Because I tell you one thing, it's all good to talk about quarterback 2, cornerback 2, the O-line rotation, run defense, and all that. But if we lose in the playoffs, game 1, heads need to roll. You see what I'm saying? I feel like everybody in the nation is like, we need to get to the Super Bowl. We need to get to an NFC championship, at least, bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, Washington is cool. They're playing Sam Howell. And, sometimes Dallas tends to play down to their competition. So when we talk about risk versus reward, what are we really going to learn? Because are we looking for consistency? Isn't that the main thing we're seeking from this team? And we're not going to get that in one game. We're not going to go into the playoffs feeling, all cozy and warm. We're going to have questions, but so will every other team. I think Dak is hot right now. I'm not listening like you and Bach be saying. Don't listen to those 4-letter networks, 3-letter networks, because he's tied for number 1, but they won't say who he's tied with. It's
right.
Josh Allen.
But let me ask you a question.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Yes,
That's why I'm about to ask you, because I felt like I thought I knew where you were going, but then you kind of switched up. So what are you saying for this final game? What are you trying to say here? Just give it to me straight.
I'm saying, okay, I'm giving it to you straight.
Yeah.
We got something to play for, right? Okay, cool. So we can scoreboard watch. I want to play up with my starters up until it doesn't make any sense no more. You get what I'm saying? Because at that point, the risk versus reward isn't there for me.
Yeah,
I'm not really looking for. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to, but it sounded like you said you didn't want to do that because you wanted to be healthy. So I was a bit confused. So you do want to play these guys.
Well, yeah, because we didn't fight this hard to get. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
Right.
of course, because we have some players that could come back within that week's time if we had rest. So yeah, I do want the first overall, but more importantly, whoever we play, Tampa Bay, Green Bay,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It don't matter. We need to take it to their ass. I'm sorry if we ain't able to cuss,
No,
but we need to, because I'm
definitely
not
cuss.
trying to lose. You feel what I'm saying?
I feel
And
you.
I think everybody in this nation feel the same damn way. So this week is all good and fine. I don't think we're going to learn much. Definitely not from cornerback 2. O-line rotation is still rotating. Defense is still going to be spotty. And I just hope Dak don't throw a damn pick. If I could get that, I'd be great. And I'm not even saying them picks is his fault.
Right.
But I'm just saying, what are we really going to learn in 1 week? Let's
So-
just get into the playoffs as healthy as we can,
Yeah.
and let's execute. Kellen Moore, get out your own damn way.
So
Please,
again, that's
get
why
out your own way.
that's what I'm confused about what you're saying. You're saying play them, but you it doesn't matter. We're not going to learn. So you're kind of on both sides here.
Well,
I think
I'm not looking, because I'm not looking to learn. I'm
Right,
looking
boom.
to get that
There you
number
go.
1 seed.
There you go. Stop right there.
Thank you. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think we're using the wrong
Yes, sir.
term here. We are not really going to learn. It ain't about learning. It's not about
sir.
learning with
No,
this
it's
game,
not.
right? It's about
No,
momentum.
we are who we are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's about
I get what you're saying.
momentum and I think confidence. So I know you say, "Oh, what matter about cornerback 2? Doesn't matter about the run defense. Doesn't matter about." Well, I think it matters in the sense of gaining that confidence as opposed to learning what cornerback 2 is or learning what the run defense is. You can't learn that from this one game. But if those
exactly.
yeah, if those players can play well though, right, and build that confidence and that momentum, you want to take that into the playoffs as opposed to if they come out here, cornerback 2 get whooped for 3 touchdowns, run game give up 250. Like you don't want that to happen.
So can I ask you then, Scott? Is it more positional play that we're looking at? Like, say, take cornerback 2 for example, right? Are we looking to see if Quinn actually shades that safety over to cornerback 2 side? Are we looking for those specific things? Because then, fine, we learning something. Because to me, that's something we can take to the playoffs and execute on. But I'm not looking to see if the run game can pull out 100 yards today. I mean, this weekend.
Right.
I don't care about that. This is Washington. We should beat them, and I'm expecting to see Cooper Rush by the 3rd or 4th quarter because regardless or not, we're going to know if we in it to win it. Now, if Philly tied and San Francisco tied, then hell yeah, we're going to play to the final end. But I'm not necessarily looking to learn anything other than, okay, can Kellen Moore put a good game plan together and stick to it? Meaning we run, play action, and take it to the playoffs. Run and play action. And if we die, run and play action, and we die, run and play action. But if this nigga throwing tosses 15 yards behind the play on 1st down.
On 3rd,
bruh,
yeah, right.
Where we going? Where we going, bruh?
Hold on, I got to
You know what I mean?
good stuff,
yo,
man. I got a
Yes,
stat
sir. I ain't
want
want
to
to take
bring
up
up.
your time, brother. Yeah, man. That's all I had to say, man.
Now, good stuff. Hey, what's your name again?
My name is Rue, man. I called
Rue.
Vox one time. He got me as Run It Up, Rue. Yeah, man.
Run it up, Rue. I like it, man. Call back again, Run it up, Rue. Appreciate you, big dog.
Yes, sir, man. You keep doing your thing, brother.
Thank you, fam.
Yes, sir.
As he was talking about play action, there was a stat that came up. Shout out to Cowboy Stats and Graphics on Twitter. I was looking at yesterday, and I was dumbfounded because he brought up play action. How many times did we talk about how play action with this quarterback, he's deadly, right? With this team, he's deadly. I was surprised to realize that the Cowboys rank outside the top 10 in play action percentage used for Dak Prescott in 2022. Play action percentage used. They rank outside the top 10. And this part I'm not surprised about because he's a damn good quarterback. But he's 3rd best in the NFL in yards per attempt without play action. So there's just so many things out there, resources, statistics, and if you want to use the eyeball test, film, all that to show you, bro, this guy is really good. Really good with a mediocre scheme, in my opinion. But that surprised me. There was a point in time in the season where Dallas was one of the highest play action teams in the league, and it's kind of one by the wayside. And again, that may go back to getting a bit lazy with the run game of late. And listen, to run play action, you do not need to be successful running. A lot of people say that. That is false. You don't need to be like, hey, we're running for 7 yards per carry, so we got to run play action. No, you could be running for 1 yard per carry. Play action still can work. So I would like to see that incorporated a little bit more too, moving forward. But as long as Ford's back there, man, I feel like whatever is called, he will make the best of it, the best he can, regardless. Shout out to Vaj. Hey, Vaj, somebody called in earlier and was talking about, it was my guy from the Bahamas. We're talking about Philly. And I just thought in my head, I think if he said it out loud, they were perplexed. If you missed the perplexed, suplexed episode from yesterday, you have to go back and watch it, man. These Philly fans continue to not surprise me with their reasonings and excuses, whatever you want to call it. All right, let me lock these up. Where we at? 9:30. I understand toxic. I know that, man, but he's the one I have the most confidence in. Boy, you could take a sunny day and make it a rainy one. 931, what's good?
Not much, fam. How you doing?
I'm good. How you?
I'm working. Hey, don't really have too much time. Actually, just took a little bit of a break to actually call you.
Appreciate it.
So, about Sam Howell, I'm a North Carolina fan, so like I watch what games I can, especially where I'm at. He's not really that guy, so to speak, but he's a legitimate quarterback when given the chance. But it's the pros, so we're gonna see how that goes. But he was pretty highly touted, especially like in North Carolina. Especially they had some recently good years, and that's mainly because of him. You don't really think of North Carolina as it pertains to football. The only players you really think about, you're talking about like a Dre Bly or Julius Peppers, something like that. So, I mean,
Dre Bly, that's a name right there.
Right. So, I had an opportunity to watch some of the Washington team's games just through like Red Zone and whatnot. They run Curtis Samuel in the backfield, like very much like Debo. They do a lot of Debo Samuel-esque stuff. So that's something that the Cowboys are going to be having to pay attention to.
Yeah, they did it. He did it against the Cowboys the first matchup. Some was it jet sweeps and whatnot, pitches and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting to see like whenever you look at certain teams, how they started off and where they're at now. People figure out the schemes.
He didn't do it in the first matchup. My apologies, but he does it throughout the season.
Yeah, like they'll put him in the backfield. They'll run him like a running back, very Debo-esque, damn near Cousins, like to do that type of scheme. But you're gonna see that people have figured out a lot of schemes. I think that's what you see in Philly. The reason why they ain't doing like they used to. Granted, Jalen is hurt, no pun intended, but I think a lot of people are figuring out what they didn't know, and a lot of things are being seen on film. I think that Dallas has so many rotating pieces that you can't really actually figure out what they truly are. That's the reason why you see them going up in points per game as opposed to going down. So I think this game, the only thing you're really trying to do, get players acclimated to what they're going to be doing in the season. CB1 has been amazing. CB2 went down, CB3 went down, and now you're, with Duran, and he's been doing well. Kelvin was unfortunately Kelvin. So I think that this game is mainly just getting players acclimated to what their roles are going to be whenever it moves over into the postseason. I think the players are just going to be paying attention to what's in front of them. If things fall in their lap with Philly and San Francisco, then that's going to be great. But I think for right now, everybody's just getting acclimated to their roles, especially the offensive line, and that's the main thing. So.
Indeed.
I definitely appreciate you taking my call, and I'll try to get into the volume. So by that time, I'll actually have some of my numbers and stuff in front of me, but I wanted to definitely give it a call and, push some things out as far as I noticed as far as Sam Howell with them. So I appreciate your time.
Appreciate the Sam Howell insight and your call, man. Yeah, I agree. I think the Cowboys are just looking at what's in front of them. They understand what's in front of them, number one. They got to win. I don't think they approach this any differently than any other week. Go out here, get the dub, and try to get the dub and be healthy in the same instance, because they're still playing for the division, right? They're still playing for the division. All right, Bro G, send us out, man.
What's up, William Stilliam? Good morning, my man.
Good morning, good sir.
Yeah, man. Shoot, this game is going. I think everyone's saying the same thing. You know, it's going to be a good test, and I think it's going to be a good precursor. One of the teams we might run into the playoffs. Piggybacking off of the caller before me, you know how I was saying they kind of run a similar offense or some similar plays as the guys out here in San Francisco, and it's and that quarterback from North Carolina they drafted, he's pretty similar to Purdy. So, but I think this quarterback has an arm. I seen him play a couple of times last year. He came on television about 2-3 times, national television. It's Miami and Virginia Tech, and he got some arm. He could throw deep. So they're gonna try CB2 going deep.
Yes.
So that's going to be good practice because we know we saw what Brady did with Evans last week. You know, they threw score on 3 9 routes. So it's going to be good test, like you said, man. For both sides of the ball. I think there ain't going to be no slouches. It's good. We need this test, and hopefully, you know, like you said, and everyone else said, we come out this game healthy. Most of all, healthy, and seem like we cut down on penalties. That's a good thing. And no turnovers, man. No turnovers, and just make sure we're sound on our tackling. You practice on tackling.
Yeah, Brian Robinson Jr., you know, if you don't tackle him, man, he's a hard-nosed runner. So, yeah, you definitely got to tackle. And look, I think this team is much better than Washington. I mean, definitely with Sam Howell at quarterback. So, as a total thing, I think this Cowboys team should be able to handle them. But within the game, right, the game within the game, there's small little tests that I think the Cowboys can be facing here, especially with the O-line shuffle, especially with the cornerback situation, that you just want to see them pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's all I got for the show, Sky, man. Shoot, man. I mean, actually, I feel better about this year than I did last. Well, I was feeling good last year. I even feel better this year going into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
Save that question. Hey, appreciate you, Bro G.
All right, my man. Have a good one.
Ooh, I love it. Let's save that one. What's tomorrow? Friday? Let's save that one. I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to ask the question, but I want to save that question. Appreciate you, Bro G, for that. That might be tomorrow's meat and potatoes. Get the pulse of the nation, literally. See how y'all feel. Shout out to the Cochran Firm, and shout out to Boston Scientific, Dubai Sky. He bounced back. He gave us a scare. A Jags game, but he bounced back. We're on a streak now. But if you are like 39 million men in the U.S. who suffer from ED, Boston Scientific can help you out. They've created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. It's easy to get started. You head on over, you take a quiz, you learn the severity or risk of ED, and if you do have conditions that put you at higher risk, you find customized content. Visit edcure.org to get the facts and find a urologist who can offer treatment options that work when others do not. It ain't hard, but you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
I'm here to rescue you, man. Hey, sloppy, toxic. Come on, man. I don't even want to say your name, but yeah, we can't say that on here, Toxic Joey. Can't say that on here, man. Professor O, I'm telling you, Boston Scientific, if they had any flavor in their marketing department, that could be a ridiculous marketing tactic, man. Just saying. Good stuff today, Cowboys Nation. Good stuff. Tomorrow, we'll tackle that question that popped in my head as Bro G was talking there. And it's Friday. Again, we don't get too many Roll Out the TV Fridays, and that won't be a Roll Out the TV Friday, but it also won't be a tough one. Should be an easy show. Got Washington coming up. Doesn't matter to them. Matters to the Cowboys. They can get that number 1 seed, win the division, all that good stuff. We'll continue to talk about that, have that discussion. Later, Mo will be back on A to Z Sports Prime Time talking about this matchup even further. So make sure y'all support Mo. And then the final show of the week, you can find me over on The Volume. Shout out to the Lil Big Bro, Voch Lombardi on the Voch Lombardi live show. About 3:06. We might have to really change that to 3:16. 3-ish. We'll be over there continuing to talk about this game, breaking it down on the final show of the week. Still blows my mind. We are at week 18, man. Crazy. Nah, Sully, I did not see that episode, but I think we've heard that many a times, right? Like Jerry sold his soul for the Super Bowl. It was a point in time where I was like, this missing the whole curse thing, but I'm like, God, man, that might be a thing, but nah, I can't have that mindset. We got a couple more. We'll talk about a little bit more here in the chat, and then we'll get up out of here. LP or the NP said I need to trademark that bar. I'm telling you, man. I haven't heard anybody say it. I haven't heard Seattle. Can I say that? I haven't heard the V1 say it. I haven't heard the C1 say it. What's the other one? The BC1. I haven't heard them say it. I say it like I can't say it. I mean, I can say those names, but I ain't giving them free advertisement. But Boston Scientific, though, hey, man. Holla at me if you need a marketing agent. I'm just saying. It said Jesse and Nate lost it. Oh, I got to see it now. Me and Jesse are actually recording Cowboys 4th and Long tomorrow. So I'm going to bring that up. Matter of fact, remind me tomorrow, Sully, if I forget. You said something about a curse? I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to surprise him. Hey, man, you think the Cowboys are cursed since the 3rd Super Bowl? Let's see if that triggers him, man. But look, appreciate y'all for joining me this morning. Another fantastic episode with you guys riding shotgun. I said this to Michelle, man. Doing this show solo, it wasn't supposed to be this way, but doing this show solo, a lot of people don't understand what it takes out of y'all, but every time I click that live button, I get on here, my energy takes another level because of y'all, and I appreciate that a whole lot. My words would just never be able to express it. So I thank y'all for being here this entire season, riding out with us. We have done the goal that we came out to set, and that was hit 20K. That was to be one of the best, if not the best, morning show talking Dallas Cowboys in the land, and I think we are exceeding those goals. But we got more to reach here in 2023, and I want y'all to be a part of it, man. I want y'all to be a part of it. With that said, go ahead and hit this button. Hey, Snitch. Listen, if you do patent, just give me a little cut. That's all I'm asking for, bro. It's a little something. I ain't greedy. Just give me a little something. Hey, man, put Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame. Stop playing with Woody. Not that Woody. Darren Woodson. I love y'all. We out. Peace.
Squad!